Head of household is a big exam favorite because it's a three-part gate. 1. You must be unmarried or considered unmarried on the last day of the year. 2. You paid more than half the cost of keeping up a home. 3. You had a qualifying person, usually living with you more than half the year. Miss any one piece, and HOH is gone. The cost of home test is not who pays most bills overall. It's specifically the cost of keeping up the home. Think shelter and household operations. If you paid more than 50% of those costs for the year, you pass this gate. On the EA exam, they'll sneak in expenses that feel householdish but don't count. So what counts? Rent, mortgage interest, property taxes, utilities, repairs, and home insurance. Food eaten in the home counts too, which surprises people. What does not count? Clothing, education, medical care, vacations, life insurance, or transportation. And welfare payments aren't treated as amounts the taxpayer provides to keep up the home. Now the qualifying person piece. For HOH, it's not enough that someone is your dependent. The person must fit HOH categories: a qualifying child, a married child you can claim as a dependent parent, or certain qualifying relatives who meet the relationship tests. Most of the time, the qualifying person must live with you more than half the year, except a qualifying parent. Relationship rules are where the exam gets sneaky. A child, stepchild, sibling, step-sibling, or descendants, like a grandchild, niece, or nephew, can be a qualifying person if the other tests are met. But some people can be dependents and still not be HOH qualifying persons. The classic trap is a cousin. A cousin might be a qualifying relative dependent, but that alone doesn't make them a qualifying person for HOH. Here's the cousin twist. If your cousin lives with you all year and meets the qualifying relative rules, you might claim them as a dependent, but you still can't use HOH just because of that cousin. However, if that cousin is placed with you as a foster child by a government agency, now you may have a qualifying child, and HOH can be back on the table. That placement detail matters. Parents are the big exception to the must live with you rule. If you pay more than half the cost of keeping up your parent's main home, you can file HOH, even if your parent lives elsewhere, like an apartment, nursing home, or assisted living. Even if the parent dies during the year, you can still potentially claim them and use HOH for that year if the dependency and support rules are met. Marcus's wife moved out on November 1st, 2023, and hasn't returned. Marcus pays all the cost of keeping up the home for himself and his 6-year-old dependent child. His wife won't communicate, and he can't get her signature or income info. He hasn't filed for divorce. What filing status should Marcus use? Married filing jointly with a disclosure, married filing separately, head of household, or single? Think about it. The correct answer is married filing separately. He's still legally married, and you can't file a joint return without your spouse's consent and signature. Head of household is tempting because he supports a child, but the fact pattern doesn't say he meets the considered unmarried rules, so you can't assume HOH. Single is simply not allowed because he isn't divorced. Gordon is 65 and lives with his son and daughter-in-law. He's retired with $12,000 of taxable pension income, and he doesn't plan to file a return. Can his son and daughter-in-law claim him as a dependent? The choices include yes, no, because income is too high, yes if Gordon doesn't file, or none of the answers. Think about it. The correct answer is no, because his income exceeds the threshold amount for a qualifying relative. For dependency, gross income has to be below the applicable limit, and $12,000 of taxable pension blows past it. The tempting wrong answer is yes if he doesn't file, but whether he files doesn't fix the gross income test.